Welcome to a special Jace Media Music video interview. I am your host, Justin Smollison, proud Jace contributor from across the pond. My guest today is one of the most recognizable voices in prog metal in the EU. I'm talking about Terence Holler, former voice of the band Eldritch. He has been going for it on his own in the last couple of years. His brand new album is called Next in Line, right over here. And it is the follow-up to Reborn, which is right over here, both of which are available on Scarlet Records. So I'm a fan of Terence's. I've been following his career for a little while, and I think it's great that he's got this new personality that he's bringing to the scene. We're going to talk all about it and what it was like to leave Eldritch and what he plans to achieve through Holler, which, as you can see, is a very tight-knit sextet right up there. There's so much to discuss, so we're going to get right to it. Jace Media Music audiences worldwide, please welcome all the way from Italy, Terence Holler. All the way from Italy, we've got our guest today, Terence Holler. Welcome to Jace Media.
Thanks. It's really a big honor for me. I mean, really.
It's a pleasure, and we've got so much to discuss because we were chatting before we started rolling. You've got this wonderful career that is continuing in this new chapter for you, right? You've opened a new chapter. You were Reborn, right?
Yep.
And now you've just recently released the Next in Line, which was obviously the next album in line. So very good. And so yeah, how are you feeling? You released solo albums in back-to-back years.
Well, I had so much ideas. It's not really a solo project because I started it as a solo thing, but I involved the musicians. So because I've been used to living in a band for the whole life, so
right.
I don't want to do the solo man, So I created this new band, even though it's named like me, but it's more like a real band. So we had so many songs, and we just recorded 2 albums like in a year and a half.
Yeah.
So and we still have other songs ready, but now we'll just settle down and start playing some live shows. It's better. Excellent.
And so the players that you picked up for the 2 Holler albums, how did you know them?
Well, they were just because the band that was in before Eldritch is pretty famous in Italy. One of the best 4 or 5 Italian acts of all time, and these guys were just fans, but they were musicians. They're almost all music teachers. And, they're like a bit younger than me. I'm pretty old, but I look young, but I'm getting old now. But these guys are like 15 years younger than me. They were just fans. And I said, hey, I want to have some ideas. Let's just get together. It just came automatically. It was really easy. I never expected so easy like that.
Nice. And was it one of those situations where you were all able to record together in the studio, or do you do it through the internet? How do you do it?
Well, we did. We live all like in 15 miles from each other. So.
Oh, okay.
They live in the Reborn city. I live out of the city, but we recorded almost everything together.
Nice.
Own studio for the post-production things, but we were all together.
Excellent. Yeah, because
writing songs and stuff like that.
Yeah, so you're the singer. Are you playing an instrument too, or are you just singing?
Oh, I'm just singing.
Yeah. So you've got.
I want to play girls.
You're backed by a quintet, and they do some really fascinating left turns on your albums. It's not your typical straight ahead hard rock metal sort of a thing. There's a song called "Don't Fool Me."
Yeah,
where it goes, yeah, and you think it's going to get heavier, and it just gets a little bit more dynamic instead. Did you lead those ideas, or was that something that came organically from the group?
Oh, it came organically because the main music writer is Matteo Cimenti. He's the main song music writer. He just sends me some ideas, and I create the melody, the vocal melody, and after that the lyrics. And he's a music teacher as well as all the other guys, so he has like this kind of jazzy and progressive influence. So he said, "Is this song a bit too complicated?" I said, "What? I come from Eldritch. It's not. To me, it's not complicated."
Okay.
The chorus part is quite, it's quite difficult to count because it's, yeah, it's an odd tempo, but I made a good melody out of that. So
Yeah.
it was really easy. Everything was easy, unexpectedly easy.
Okay. Excellent. And
That song is great because it's really technically, I call it's crooked.
yeah.
Almost never straight,
Right. And that's why it stuck out as one of the first songs I wanted to ask you about, because it's, if you listen to Eldritch, as Holler, you don't sound much like Eldritch at all. I mean, your voice is obviously identifiable, but it's definitely not a carbon copy in any stretch, at least not that I can hear.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, in Eldritch, I started with the band in 1990, exactly the real year that we started writing songs. And I wrote all the melodies of all the Eldritch album. So it's my way of writing melodies. So that's why you can hear sometimes some things that look like Eldritch.
Yeah. And then you've got, I believe, oh yeah, you have a song called The Ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I feel like, I could be wrong, it sounds like you're singing to the majesty of the ocean and you're trying to draw its power. Tell us a little bit about that one. That's a cool track.
Yeah. I live really like at not even 2 miles from the ocean, from the beach over here. So I live on a hill, but I'm really just like 2 miles from the beach. And sometimes I feel like I just gotta go there. I'm attracted,
Yeah.
I feel like I go there and just stare at the sea, breathe the wind, the sea breeze, and stuff like that. And for me, the ocean is like, I'm not so religious, but for me, it's like a god.
Yeah.
So I talk to the ocean and I ask advices, even though I always make a lot of mistakes. But for me, the ocean is really important. I can't live far from the ocean. I always lived near the ocean, even when I was in Long Island. I was right there. So.
Now, speaking of which, yeah, I live in, like we were saying earlier, I live near Long Beach, Long Island, and I also, even though the cost of living over here is growing, I don't want to live away from a large body of water. There's something very comforting about it.
So that's how the same as me. I can't. I gotta go. So it's just like 4 minutes driving from my house. So I go there, especially in the winter. Not now, because now from June to September, where this area, which is like 30 minutes from Pisa, it's really boiling hot, and there's so many people, and I don't like the people.
Okay.
I don't like the crowd. I mean,
the crowd. Yeah. It's too congested.
Yeah. I don't like, a lot of, I want to talk to the ocean by myself.
Yeah.
So I go in the winter.
You also cover a very famous song on Next in Line. You cover Chandelier by Sia. And what led you to that song?
Well, it's always Matteo's idea, he's that guy. He looks like a straight guy, but he's weird too, like me. So he woke up a morning and said, "Hey, what about doing this song?" I said, "What? That song is quite hard to sing."
Oh yeah.
But he said, "Yeah, your voice is pretty high pitched, so you can try it." So I tried it and it came out good. And we said, "Okay, let's do it." And we're gonna shoot a video for that in a week. Yeah.
Oh, really? You're gonna do a video for Chandelier? Now, I remember the original video from Sia. It was a girl kind of doing interpretive dance. So I'm gonna guess you're gonna do something different.
There is a girl that we hired for that. She's a real performer.
Okay.
She's quite sexy, and we're doing that. But there's also the band in this video. So we're playing in this they call it a bat house because it's an infested house, old. I don't know. I never been there, but the director said it's quite, So it's gonna be a more dark, atmosphere thing. But there's gonna be this sexy chick dancing.
Okay. All right. Cool. Was that a big hit in Italy when the song came out, or was it just something that you had been ruminating on for a while?
Oh, it was a really big hit.
Was it? Yeah. See, I remember it, but I wasn't really paying attention at the time. And then I heard it in the show Moulin Rouge on Broadway. They did it, and I said, "Oh, I know this song." I had no idea what they were saying, and then I understood the lyrics. And then I saw you were doing it, and I said, "Oh, okay, cool." That's a tough one to sing. She hits some very high notes. She's a great singer. Even if you don't love the music, you can appreciate her voice.
Yeah, yeah. And the music of that song is so and so. You know, it's just the voice.
Yeah.
We took the vocal line exactly how it is because, you know, for the rights and all that shit. But we changed the music completely. It's a kind of heavy blues. You know, we changed it in a kind of heavy blues.
Yeah, that's why I like what you brought to it. I'm looking forward to the video now. I don't watch too many videos. I mean, sometimes, but for that one, I'm going to check out. I'm going to see what Holler does differently than Sia. I think that'll be fun.
It's going to be a darker video than the previous ones because the other ones are more like, you know, pop stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Easy to look at, and they're just us playing and, you know, sunny places. But this time it's going to be a more darker, introspective thing.
Excellent. And so when you, if you don't mind, you know, we mentioned you got this wonderful career. This was your final album with Eldritch. Did you know that was going to be your last album?
No, to be honest, no. But I don't know what happened. I found out just right after the release of that album, came out in November 2021. I found out around March, April, so just 4 or 5 months after, that a couple of guys in the band were hating me. I didn't know that.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, they were hating me not because of me. It's because all the attentions of the band were on me. They were kind of jealous. They said the band is taking a direction which we don't count much because on all the reviews, everybody says the Terence Holler's band.
Mm-hmm.
They were quite jealous. So they asked me to stop being so present on social media things, you know?
Huh.
And I said, what's your problems? I mean, it's always been like that. After 13 albums, you have problems, you're jealous because they talk about me and they don't talk about you.
Right.
I had this kind of fight. I said, fuck off. I'm going to go on my own. That's it.
Wow.
I was really into it because I wrote all the songs. I was into the band, but I don't know what happened to these guys that I think they were influenced by, you know, the Wags and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. You clearly have a good relationship with Scarlet Records because they've released your first 2 albums as Holler. What's the relationship like? What's the guy's name? Angelo Mora? Yeah.
He's a good friend. You know, I 2 or 3 times a year I go up to Milano, which is like 3.5 hours from here. I go there. We just have lunch together and talk about music business and stuff. Yeah. Sometimes they come in and see me here at my house. You know, so yeah, I like them because they're really, you know, down to earth people. You know, they're not. I mean, they're not like other record companies that I had in the past. So it's
right. Okay,
they're more like friends. You know.
Yeah, no, and they've got some great artists as well. They got Game Over. They got Moonlight Haze. I don't know if Band of Spice is still with them anymore, but they were. I was a big fan of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's still there. I don't know. Because sometimes the bands, you know, they quit music business because nowadays it's not like it was in the 90s. A lot of people can't make a living out of it.
Yeah.
So, you know, sometimes depends on what kind of work, daily job you got to quit.
Right. Well, let's talk about that. You have another business venture that supplements your music career. You are the owner of a barbecue restaurant, right? Tell us about that.
Well, yeah, it was an idea. Because I live in this, when I was gaining a lot of money from the early records of Eldritch, I built this mansion with the pool, big. It's like I'm like a little Ozzy Osbourne over here in this small town, you know. So I've been always doing parties and inviting people, and I was always been cooking. And the people say, "Wow, you cook really good. Why don't you open a restaurant?" I said, "Hey, you need a lot of money to open that." But then I decided to do it. And it took more money than expected. So I put all the money I had in my whole life that I got from music, plus the other half comes from the bank. And this means I got to work I got to concentrate on that. But it's going good. I opened it 8 years ago exactly. It was June 14th. So in a couple of days, it'll be 8 years.
Wow.
That's
Congratulations.
because the name works. It's called La Porqueria Barbecue. And, it's a kind of weird name for a restaurant over here. But it works. I got good food and I'm a good cook. My son is learning. It's for him. I did it for him. As soon as he's okay, I'll just work with music.
Okay. So, but for now you're doing double duty. Do you ever get ideas for music while you're cooking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm there. I don't know what happens. When I'm like in my world and I'm there like turning around the tomahawk steaks, and I say, I got this kind of melody running in my head. So I just pick up the phone and just record this vocal melody. And then I'll just put it there and then I'll send it to Matteo or Dennis, his brother, the guitar player, and they'll start writing music out of that.
Wow. Yeah. It's always fascinating to me how the creative process works for different people. A lot of times also I'm working on one project, but something will come up for something else and I have to just, speak it into the phone, jot it down, and then just leave it there. Yeah. It happens all the time. But I love that it's not you working on one music project and thinking about another. You're making food and suddenly you want to, you've got an idea for a lyric or a vocal melody and you just dash it into the phone.
Most of the songs, but I write them after I get like kind of issues with girls. This is my
okay.
I think it's for me, it's the better moment to write when you're a bit down,
Yeah.
When you get, kind of, something happens or you got a fight with the girl or you get, something happens and I start writing songs.
Yeah.
And that is the only good thing out of, when you break up a relationship.
Yeah.
I can make some money out of even that, I'll try.
I remember you have a song on Reborn called I Don't Want, and I would only assume that that's where that came from.
Yeah. I don't want to fall in love anymore. The only thing I want is music, The only thing I can love is music. There's another song called, I think, Music is the Only One on that album, which I explain everything. I say, in the end, my life, the only thing I really am in love with is music because I'm changing girls still from when I started when I was a teenager and I'm old now and I'm still switching like 2-3 girlfriends a year.
Ooh.
Well, sometimes it's funny, sometimes it isn't.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I get it.
Girls are girls.
So what's next for Holler? Does Holler have live shows lined up for the rest of 2025?
Well, we're starting. We already planned the show. It's already booked. October 25th in Livorno, at a big theater. It's called the Cage. Theater. It's going to be our debut. So we'll see what goes on, and then we'll plan something else, maybe around Europe. Just a few things because in the wintertime I can close the restaurant because there's nobody around here. It's like a desert land.
Right.
So I can do some shows, let's say from November to March, I can play. So we'll probably do some other shows. But the first one is October 25th in Livorno.
Excellent. And is that the first time that Holler's going to be on stage or you've played before?
No, it's the first time.
Oh, wow. Okay. The live debut.
Yeah, live debut. We'll play, 50% of each album. We'll put them together, the best tracks from each album, and we'll play the show.
Okay, excellent.
I'm doing a real professional thing with, some girls, at the choir, that's, backing vocals and stuff. So I want to do something really professional because these guys are really good. Especially that guy that was singing on that song, The Ocean. He's the guitar player. There's a little part where he sings, Luca, and he's a vocal coach, So,
okay.
So he got some good people backing vocals for us. And yeah, it's going to be a professional thing.
That's excellent. All right. Well, I look forward to seeing how that plays out. And hopefully that does bring you to other parts of the EU and hopefully the UK so that our local Jace Media music audience can check it out and see what's happening with Holler. Terence, I'm going to let you go in a moment, but is there anything else that you'd like to say to your fans and people who have followed you in this new era of your career?
Well, I just want to say, just check it out because I think, I don't want to say, 100% sure, but I think that even in this side of my career, I did something a bit unique because it's not AOR or hard rock like the others do. We have a lot of influence. So I think Holler is a band that could create their own little, status of, mini cult band. We can probably make it because the songs are catchy. Just got to get into them, and I think we can do. I mean, just give a chance. Just ask the people just to give us a chance. Just don't only read what you see on the reviews. It's better listening to the stuff, because the writers, when they do the reviews, they just write, they have to put you in some kind of thing, in a trend or whatever, in the genre. They say, oh, these guys are AOR, these guys are hard rock, these guys are metal. We're not, we're everything. I know it's a big thing to say, but it's just rock, it's just music.
Special thanks again to Terence Holler for joining us here on Jace Media. Holler's albums Reborn and Next in Line are both available from our friends at Scarlet Records. Right now you are hearing a clip of The Ocean, and earlier you heard clips of Don't Fool Me, Chandelier, and Crystal Eyes. All of these songs are off of Next in Line. Links to videos are on this interview's show notes. Follow Holler on all social platforms. And if you will be in Italy on October 25th, 2025, head over to Livorno because Holler will be live at The Cage. As always, be sure to make legitimate purchases of the music, merch, and tickets to support hardworking artists like Terence Holler and his talented band, Holler. And did anyone else get hungry during that interview? Check out La Porcheria BBQ. That's Terence's restaurant. It's in Rosignano Marittimo. Be sure to tell him that you heard about the Ristorante in this Jace Media Music interview, and be sure to tip your waitress or waiter. Head on over to the revamped JaceMediaMusic.com page. We've got reviews, we've got interviews, we've got all kinds of great music coverage. Check out some of my recent video interviews with my all-time favorite metal singer John Bush of Armored Saint and Category 7, the drummer of Category 7 and Shadows Fall, Jason Bittner, guitar heroes like Herman Frank of Victory, and guitar wizard Soren Anderson, who plays with Glenn Hughes, and rock and metal singers like Nick DeSalvo of Elder, Fate's Warning singer Ray Alder, DK Ravel of Kickin' Valentina, and members of Avatarium, Captain Blackbeard, and more. Special thanks, as always, to our fantastic founder and publisher, Glenn, and all of my Jace Media colleagues. And of course, special thanks to you, the worldwide Jace Media music audience. Look for Jace Media on Facebook and X and Instagram and basically every social media channel you can think of. I am Justin Smolison, proud Jace Media contributor from across the pond. Thank you again for tuning in. Keep coming back to JaceMediaMusic.com. I've got more video interviews on the way.